with the current actors right now what they would be making like 25 years ago before the
Uh, so if you did a commercial before, an average commercial would be McDonald's, who would be filming almost every day. There was a McDonald's called the shooting store. In downtown LA, there were shooting stores, and it was real operating, working McDonald's, other fast food companies, and they were going all the time. They had professional people down there, the uniforms, everything ready for whoever came in. So their own dress. It was just great. It was cool. And you would make probably a simple 30-day commercial would garner you anywhere from average 10 to $30,000. Some of the bigger, longer running ones that weren't promotions might get people 40, 50,000.
Wow.
I mean, today, if you did a drug commercial, some of those are pulling 60, 80,000 because those are union jobs. But when everything happened with the striking and trying to persuade actors not to strike, they caused people to panic and run, and they started doing a lot of more additional real people or non-union actors. So as the workload picked up for non-union actors, because the strike kept going on and on, they were realizing that known actors were doing what's called FICOR, where you can work in the union, work and do non-union jobs. So right to work. They were going out and picking up all the jobs because they're like, well, these non-union actors don't take training. They can't work. So as a professional actor, I'll book it. And they did every time because they outshined the other actor. Well, as more and more jobs were becoming non-union, the actors started getting savvy to the part, we better get some training. And as casting directors opened up coaching and other people were coaching actors, we got better and better non-union actors. We also got lower and lower rates. They started realizing people are going to be desperate. We'll put out, and they were going as low, they'll go low, and there's always bound someone to take it because they want to be on TV. It's not to be the craft and being paid fairly. So then they came up with an average. So now it's like, well, this is what we want to pay, and this is what it is. And so now jobs are, the going rate, and that's what fair going rate is. But there's a lot more trained non-union actors. But a lot of people today don't even realize that there was this whole union thing. And it's not just once in a while there's a union job. It was only union.
Yeah, I feel like it's once in a while there's a union job.
Well, and imagine then there was also less actors. And so some actors were doing 3, 4, 5. I know some actors that had 6 national commercials running a year. And the residuals on a national is what gets you your money. So if you have at least 2 majors, New York and Chicago, Chicago, LA, Chicago, New York, it's going to run during prime time. You can make some big money during that run because every time it airs across the country, some markets are less money. Like Idaho might be 50 cents when it ran. But with all the 50-cent little small towns across the country where it's running, that's a few $100 plus your hundreds of dollars that from your national network time slot at 6 p.m. or whenever, prime time. All that together could be one day's payment, could be $300, $400, $500, if not more, could be $800. You know what I mean? That's where you were getting into these thousands and thousands of dollars. 10, 20,000, $30,000 for a commercial. So now you're bought out. And there's not that many union jobs. And people, like I said, had no idea that there was all this kind of work before and that you could get paid so much money. And those that do a union job go, wait a minute. I did a union job because I had someone in class go, they were still confused. And that's why class is good. I did a job that was union. People were telling me that's really great. I should run and join the union. I said, don't join the union because you want to work as much as you can before you have to join. So they didn't join, but then they went and booked another job and they were like, well, I only got $2,500 for that job for 1 year's usage. And I'm like, I know, that's the difference. So imagine when you had an actor booking anywhere from 10 to 30, 40, $50,000 per commercial, and at 5 or 6 of them, they were making $250,000 to $500,000 a year.
And that was 25 years ago dollars.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. So you can imagine those people were really successful when they had those kind of campaigns. Even if they had 2 huge nationals running for at least 6 months, like some of these commercials that run all the time, you can imagine even if they made, let's just say they made 60,000, they made 120,000 for a 6 to 7 month run for that year.
Wow.
So back then they were making easily 120,000 on 2 huge nationals. If they picked up some others, now they're at 160, 200. So there was some good money to be made.
Yeah, and now a typical non-union job is about 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 if it's a great job, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I laughed. I did one of the commercials we had to do, the shoot day, it was pouring rain. So they had to light it and move the cameras differently and because it was all outside. So it was supposed to run all summer long. And it only ran a little bit, but I got 23,000 for it. But that was 23,000 for a day of work.
I mean, as an actor?
As an actor, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So back then I was like 23,000. So I was picking up a couple jobs a year and making 60, 70, 80,000 extra dollars on top of what my job was. And that's why we say to actors, take it as a hobby, have a real job, what I call a real job until this becomes a real job where you're making enough money to live off of it. But again, I always tell actors too, just as a pandemic, you might hit a slow year, a slow period. A show might be canceled. A new show hasn't been written. Your connections are not in the right area right now. So have another job so you're not stressed. You're not desperate. You know, back then you were able to get insurance through the union and it was great insurance. But so often actors didn't have a second job and they were desperate because they were just hundreds of dollars, a few $100s away from insurance for the year. And we were getting close to Christmas, things weren't as busy. The risk of them losing their insurance was scary. So you come to us and we would try and get them on jobs. These were our regulars and people we knew. And, some of these people weren't booking. Maybe it was a slow year for them. And we would actually try and get them on our jobs as extras so they can make an extra $300, $400, $500 to just get under the line to be able to get their insurance. Because insurance is expensive, but I have people that do other jobs like they're insurance salesmen, realtors, things like that keep their availability flexible and free.
Thank you for joining Stuart and me today at Win at Acting. Next episode, we're going to talk about how non-union jobs have totally changed the industry. Remember to like and subscribe this channel and book that job.